3, 2, 1. What's up, everybody? This is the first episode of the Anime Hour podcast, and I am one of your co-hosts. My name is Jonathan.
And I'm Jade.
And we're going to let you know a little bit about ourselves and kind of get into exactly what this podcast is all about and go into the specifics of everything. But essentially, some of the things that we wanted to quickly let you know about before we got too far into the podcast was just a little bit about our history and our experience with the anime.
Yeah, I personally got into anime rather late. I actually watched my first anime with John. It was Death Note, actually.
When do you think we watched that?
20s.
Don't age us.
2014, I think we watched it.
Oh, God,
yeah.
We're so old. Well, I mean, that was the very first.
That was the very first anime I ever watched.
What about like children's stuff? Dragon Ball Z, Pokemon, Inuyasha,
Pokemon, Digimon,
all that shit.
Yu-Gi-Oh, some Beyblade, I think, at the time.
Oh, Beyblade was good.
Let it rip.
Metabots. You ever watch that?
Nope.
Metabots was good too. Underrated. It was only out for like a year or two. It was really good. But as you can see, probably like most anime enthusiasts, we all had to start somewhere, especially in the West. It's gonna be your YTV or Cartoon Network or whatever, WB Kids, Pokemon and Digimon and Yu-Gi-Oh, all of that kind of stuff. But I would have to say that probably what led us here, at least for me, was from those first days, just watching Pokemon or whatever after school, and getting a Game Boy and whatever else. I think my love for anime just never really died and just kind of kept going. And I think I just watched it all throughout high school, public school.
I think the thing that kept me most involved in it would be the Pokemon series. I know it falls under like the cartoon-esque aspect of things, right?
Yeah.
But I played my first Pokemon game was Pokemon Silver. Played the hell out of that. Played it on my Game Boy Color. Had the little dongly flashlight. And then I lost
the
it.
one that it's the only way you can see the screen.
Yeah. So I lost that and didn't get to play my Game Boy at night anymore.
Yeah. Couldn't see. Can't play.
No. So yeah, Pokemon's been the thing that's really started me into it, per se, and then continued my love for, I guess, the animation style and kind of my
Just your love for in general, or
my exposure.
your exposure? Okay, yeah, fair
to the
enough.
Eastern culture and the way that they go about their animation style, their
It's
writings.
very different from cartoons.
Very much.
Very
so.
different. Yeah. Also, don't mind us if we're glowing and shimmering and shiny as 1,000 degrees in this volcanic basement room. We have got a giant bright light on us. It's just creating supersonic levels of heat and light, and then we have this computer, and then we had to turn off a light, and it's just really hot, and we're just gonna be real hot and sweaty and not bothered for you guys. Just to kind of add on to like what you were saying, Jade, I'd have to say that I'd probably agree. I think Pokemon, honestly, probably wasn't for that, and probably a lot of kids that were at the same time, at the same age as us.
Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah.
Actually. Because Yu-Gi-Oh! Is still a franchise that's going strong. A lot of spin-offs.
Yeah, and
from the main
Pokemon certainly
series.
is too.
Pokemon is definitely still going strong.
Like I remember, I literally my earliest memories of like Pokemon or even anime and just in general, like I literally remember watching like Pokemon episodes. And I literally remember getting my first Game Boy. I had like the yellow Pikachu edition, and I had Pokemon Yellow. I remember being so young that I didn't really know how to play the game, so I tried to get my mom to catch the Pokemon, and like. I think it was like either, oh God, I must have been like 10. I don't even remember. It was like really, it was a long time ago. But
Pokemon
I remember
Yellow was the hardest of.
Well, not that specifically that, but like I remember going to the movie theaters and watching
Pokemon 2000.
Pokemon 2000.
Yep.
and getting like fuck, dude, I got like a Mew card for going, and I remember
Like
even
the
after
glyph kind of
like the hieroglyphic looking one, and then I remember going into movies again, like literally a year or two later, and watching Pokemon. I think it was 2001 or something with the fucking birds or some shit. Do you know what I'm talking about? I don't know, Batman Beyond 2001. I'm thinking of something else, but there was the one with the Pokemon with Lugia and the fucking mulch.
That would have been,
no.
I believe, 2000, because that's
the
Silver, Gold, and Crystal era.
Well, there's the first movie, which I believe has which is like just about Mew and Mewtwo.
Yeah.
Right? Then the one after that.
No, Pokemon 2000 is about Mewtwo.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then the one after that is about Lugia, and it's got like Moltres and all the birds and shit in there.
You're taking me too far back.
I don't know. But I just remember watching those movies, essentially. And I remember like...
2000.
I don't fucking know. But I remember watching those movies, and I remember essentially like... That was probably like the driving force. And then I just remember after that, it was probably like your early morning cartoons. Like as I got older, it became more like, you know, Yu-Gi-Oh! And Beyblade. And then probably when I hit my teens, it was the same kind of thing. It was like whatever was on TV, and it was like Death Note, Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah,
Inuyasha.
I never watched either Inuyasha or Dragon Ball Z.
Really?
Really? Couldn't get into it. Couldn't get into either of them.
Is it the 20-minute?
I think it's
episodes?
just the abundance of screaming to fill an episode that has no relevance to any of the story that's actually going on.
Fair enough. But yeah, so I would definitely say not seeing Dragon Ball Z and like, you know, shows like it of its time is probably a little surprising, because I feel like even for people who weren't into like the Pokemon, they were like really into Dragon Ball Z, because like it was a lot of action and like blood and like, whatever. Right?
I think the main thing about Dragon Ball Z was, at the time, I was probably 7, probably 8.
Yeah, I'd say the same.
In and around that time, I wasn't fond of the animation style. I don't know. It wasn't the same as how the Pokemon was, how the Digimon was, how it was with your Yu-Gi-Oh!, your Beyblade.
It was definitely less geared towards children.
Yes.
And until it looked a lot different.
It was like your teen to young adults.
Yeah.
And again, I was 8. So it didn't really catch my eye. It didn't really spark any interest. That being said, I'm now 26. Still haven't watched it. Probably won't. Sorry.
Sorry.
I mean, it is what it is. I got my niche, and I don't think Dragon Ball Z fits it, because there's about 743 filler episodes that I don't care to watch.
Yeah, we'll get into filler episodes at some point and sometime, because that's a good topic on its own. But I think we'll move on from a little bit of our background, and we'll probably talk a little bit more about kind of like what's keeping us watching it, because we already know that we liked it growing up. Yep. It was fun and it was exciting and cool as a kid. Other kids liked it too. You know, you had the video games, all that stuff, and that was like probably some of the bigger reasons. But like,
were you one of the kids that did the Naruto run? Did you Naruto run?
I did the Naruto run like 4 years ago. So no, I was still not a kid, but a kid.
When you were in high school, did you Naruto run? Did you get all hunched over and get the arms out? Did you get it? Did you do it?
No, I didn't transform into a sports car with the fucking aerodynamics and shit, but I didn't do that.
Run?
No, I didn't.
You ran as Naruto.
I didn't do it at school. I did it outside of school. I didn't want to do it at school. Fair but enough. At school I did the fucking
the sexy jutsu.
Yeah, the you know, whatever he does. So I did that. I did that shit.
So what would you say is keeping you in the anime scene, John?
All right, I'm gonna be real with you and with you. So there's several reasons. First of all, anime is fucking underrated.
Yep.
As you get older, you start watching more mature anime.
Yep.
Like, you know, not fucking shit made for kids, right? Like legitimate animes with stories that have depth and that are like for adults. Anime is underrated as fuck. Yep. Like, there's so many grown-ups that legitimately, no matter what it is, they look at an anime and they think that's for kids.
It's cartoons.
It's a cartoon. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just so not true. Anime is like literally for everybody. There is a niche. There is like certain stories and certain types of animes and genres literally for everybody.
Pertain to a certain audience.
It does. It's harder to introduce that type of stuff to certain people.
Yeah.
But to think that there wouldn't be an anime that like that person could watch is ludicrous. It was absolutely nuts. And I think that like because it's got such a good story, and there's so many unique stories.
Let's stray away from the story here for a second. Let's talk about the art design, the animation style, the way that the drawn aspects of this either have so much realism to it in certain periods of an anime, or you have something that's super minimalistic. Right? Which both bring different elements to it. You can have an anime that's super rich in its animation style, but
you also have like some really raw, like kind of like sketchy ones.
Yeah, for example, backgrounds. Kobayashi is a prime example of this.
Yeah.
Very detailed in the actual characters, but when you look at the background of it,
it's almost it's half done in a way.
Kind of.
Yeah.
But it's a nice contrast that works well with the anime.
Well, like kind of shifts your focus on like on like what's important.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's a really good thing to mention as well. Is definitely like certain animation styles. There's like all kinds of legends, you know, and probably like Miyazaki, who did like Ghibli films. Those are probably like some of the more known people, obviously, but I would say like there's a lot of reasons. You've got your story, you've got really unique animation, there's all kinds of different styles.
Yeah.
And fucking now there's 3D.
Yep.
So I mean it's even moving with that in the future in that way. But you've got literally all these styles. I mean the culture as well. I think growing up, as long as you stay like when you grow up and you grow invested into anime, I think one of the things that changes is not just like, oh well, I'm an adult now, so I like hentai. Or oh, I'm an adult now, so I like rated R action anime that has gore. It's like I feel like more of a part of that is as you grow up, you get more sophisticated, so you like more sophisticated stuff. You like the culture, probably more of like Japanese culture in general, and I think that ties in a lot of it because like I think one of the things that people really like is that anime can either try to match or like show influence of different cultures. Like you see anime always does like American characters or something, but then you can see like anime that obviously just talks about Japan, and it's like constantly thrown in your face. And then eventually I think you're just like, Japan's kind of cool.
Japan's so cool, man.
Yeah, dude. And I think just like growing up, you just like you start to fall in love with Japanese culture in general, and just the anime culture as well. That's subsequent of that. If you're a little bit more on the perverse side, there's erotic content, which I may or may not have consumed a bit of in my life. I may have also not have drawn that stuff or supported people doing that stuff, drawing that stuff. But I like it all. I think as I grew up, I've just pretty well grown into enjoying anime for anime. And I think that's why I'm still here.
So that being said as well.
What about you though?
We'll get to that in a second.
Oh.
More of a possible controversial topic.
Okay, hit me up.
Sub or dub?
Okay. I'm gonna defend dub this much. Okay. For anybody watching, like that much.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
But I ultimately am sub.
Okay.
Okay.
And
now I don't want to sound like this elitist fucking. Oh, you can't watch. You know what I mean? But I will say, obvious reasons why I like sub is I do find there's more authenticity.
Yep.
On some of the smaller shows, like there's some smaller scale anime shows that have like one season. They're like 13 episodes long. That's all they're getting. That's all that's wrote. They don't get big budgets like Naruto and all these like Shonen Jump shows, right? So they have small studios. You know that means they have smaller money, which means that I feel a lot of the times with those types of shows, and this still happens even in big shows like Naruto or something, but what happens is you get really bad English voice acting.
Yeah.
And it's so hard to watch, dude.
It's almost undigestible.
Oh, dude, it's like you look at these people on the screen and they're talking and you're thinking, my God, your voice does not match the character. Like the emotions that are drawn on the screen, they're just not there. They're not hitting the same peak. They don't quite execute what the animation's trying to convey or the story.
I would say especially if you have watched the anime in sub first.
Right.
And then, you put it on for like some background noise or some filler for whatever you're doing. And then you hear the English portrayal of it.
Yeah.
English. Sorry. You hear the English portrayal of it, and it doesn't sit right. It doesn't resonate in your ear properly.
It's different.
It's almost like a disassociation.
It works kind of both ways, though, a little bit, but it's probably worse with sub going to dub.
Yes, I would agree with you on that entirely.
But I think, like, have you ever watched the English dub episode where someone's like, I don't know, let's say they're like pissed off. So they're like super angry, right? You're watching an anime episode. This character is like ready to tear someone's fucking head off, and then all of a sudden, that character starts. So there could be like some serious like aggression coming out here, and you see this character, and they like legitimately start talking. They only sound half mad.
Yeah,
and that's the problem with English dub is characters are only like. These voice actors are definitely not as high tier. Like they obviously can't afford a lot of the bigger ones, and so those emotions are just not. They're not being conveyed all the way.
I'm gonna say a prime example of that. Sword Art Online, Klein, in the sub edition or sub version. Sorry.
Yeah.
You can hear the aggression in his voice if he's in a situation where it needs to be portrayed as such.
True.
Whereas you go to the English dub, and it's more or less like a higher talking voice, kind of like I just did.
Yeah.
It doesn't have the same feel to it.
Voice.
Sorry. It doesn't have the same feel to it. It doesn't envelop you into the scene itself, right?
Yeah.
And I just find that the sub always outweighs the dub, usually. Unless it's for like a background.
I definitely agree with that
thing.
I definitely agree with that. There are some exceptions. There's some anime studios, some video game studios too. They start on English first. So they actually, even though it's made in Japan, they will actually start with the intention of getting it dubbed first.
Okay.
So like in relation to that, actually, not to veer off track, but like a Final Fantasy game. We've already done it. But a Final Fantasy game right now, I believe the new one, 16, is actually, it's been publicly stated that, for instance, they're going English first, then they're doing the dub, even though it's the sub essentially, even though the game's coming from Japan. That's how they're doing it, and maybe there's animes that are doing that as well. So maybe the dub will be a bit more of a priority, but I'd just say most of the times I don't think it is. Yeah. Even on your big shows, Naruto, Dragon Ball Z, whatever, there are some really bad voice actors on some of these characters, and not some of them aren't even just like characters you see like for 30 seconds. They're like
characters that are in there for a while,
or like the whole thing, and it's weird. But I will say this to stick up for dub, like I said, a little bit. Growing up, you're not gonna fucking know that. That's not something you think about.
Because being in the West, you are only given dub.
So if you tell me right now, you're like, yo, John, you gotta go watch Death Note, I'll just watch it in English, because that's how I saw it. Yep. So if someone sounds like shit, I've heard them already. I don't even care. It doesn't bother me.
No, because it's something that you're used to hearing, because we weren't exposed to it.
Yeah, so if there's shows that you've already seen or you're like currently watching and that's your first experience, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. No. You can't expect to tell somebody like,
oh, you can't watch dub.
Well, just
you don't like anime.
You know that new movie that just came out in theaters, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood or some shit? Go watch that in German. Like, why? Just watch it the way it is.
So back to the original topic that we were talking about here before I decided to sway us with the sub versus dub.
Right.
What's keeping me in the anime scene? The animation style, or animation in general, is usually top-notch. Fantastic. I appreciate art, and it's a beautiful form of art.
Indeed. Yeah.
I love the language. Japanese
It's such a beautiful
being
language.
spoken in any regard just sounds wonderful. And I would say that a lot of the story associated with the animes is sometimes kind of close to home, and it just gives me like a place to escape.
Yeah, it's good because it's like relatable stuff, but sometimes you're not even looking for relatable. You're just looking for a show to just like dump time into and just kind of like forget about your shit.
I mean, not
It's kinda
saying
good.
that I've been put into some sort of video game world that I can't get out of unless I die.
Right, or
But-
toss into another land where every single
Exactly.
time you die, you just get reborn, and then your dreams are crushed every time because you actually really like this girl, but she don't like you because she don't remember you.
ReZero. So, let's transition into the first anime that you've watched. I already touched on the subject during the opening, so
Well, first anime, like if we're not counting the childhood
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah.
the first
legitimate
like
anime.
well, they're all legitimate, but if we skip past your very like pop
Yeah.
mainstream, right?
Mhm.
We'll talk mainstream, like Naruto, all that shit, the shit you'd see on like TV, like in the West, right?
Yeah.
So I would honestly say I don't really remember. I'm gonna be honest, because when you watch hundreds of anime,
Mm-hmm.
it's like if you see the title pop up anywhere or somebody shares something, you go, "Oh yeah, I watched that," but you don't remember
You
it
don't remember
because
what
you
you
just it all kind of blurs
Yeah.
at some point. I could name off a few that I kind of remember,
Mhm.
but I don't know how long ago. I would definitely say like some of the more notable ones when I was younger would probably be like Blood Plus.
Okay.
I think I watched Psychic Detective Yakumo, Another, which was like a horror anime, which is like really good.
Okay.
But I'm gonna be honest, I've seen hundreds and hundreds, and I don't
remember.
Some of them I just don't even remember anymore, and
Yep.
it's a shame because they're all good.
Very good.
But that, yeah, I don't even know. But I have a question for you though.
Yes.
So the question for you is, I mean, I'm sure someone will eventually ask it anyways, but like, why are two dudes wanting to do a podcast about anime, especially if there's probably other people doing it? Like, what made you want to do this?
I'd say our passion for it. Well, my passion for it, anyways.
Yeah.
I love being able to just sit down, relax, watch an anime, read some subtitles.
He's a closet weeb.
I'm a closet weeb. I am. Read some subtitles. If it's something that I've seen before and I just kind of want to revisit it, I'll put it in dub, just so I don't have to put my full attention into it.
Right, playing the Sally.
Yeah, exactly.
Just the natural liking of it in general is kind of why you're here.
Pretty well.
Yeah.
Pretty well.
Mm.
And again, back to the cultural aspect of it. I love Japan. I've been, like to, but just
Same.
everything about Japan just intrigues me.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's probably... I'm definitely not a closet weeb. I'm full on weeb. Very much so. I've got figures. I've got posters. I've got stuffed fucking toys. I played the games. I had way more stuff up in the house that was anime. I had to get rid of some of it because I had there was a point where I had so much anime related stuff that I was not comfortable bringing a girl home. To be honest with you, I thought I'd get judged, so I had to get rid of. I had to cut back on some of it.
Embrace the weeb.
I know, but I've only met a couple of like other girls that are like into that are like into me. So
Yeah.
I was like, I can't. I'm like, I'm gonna be single forever if I 20 years old and like I can't be almost 30 years old. Like about to have an Akatsuki cosplay costume in the closet and like I don't know as it was just I couldn't do it. I want to do it.
So-
I want to do it. Don't get me wrong. I want to do it.
So you're gonna stick to your Sakura figure instead
In the
than an
Hanada.
Akatsuki
In the Hanada.
cosplay outfit. All right, fair enough.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, just a big weeb. I like it all. I like VTubers. I like myself a little. Iroge. I like hentai.
I like myself a little.
Oh no. I just like all of it. I like it all. I'm gonna be honest with you. There's probably not many aspects of anime related stuff and anime. Even some of the weirder stuff. You start getting the you know, like lollies and shit like that. There's some like shows like we're currently watching Nagatoro.
Yeah.
Don't mess with me, Nagatoro. I'm not
gonna miss Nagatoro.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I mean that show is literally about like one weird 12-year-old psycho messing with another weird 12-year-old introvert. Good fucking anime though. I mean, it is like it's just like I don't know. I just like it all. It's all good. It's all good to me. I'm keen on it all. I like it all.
So, John.
Yes, sir.
Animes or cartoons? What do you find better and why? In 5 points.
5 points.
Give me 5 points.
Animation style.
Okay.
I don't.
So which one do you prefer?
So animation style, I lean to the anime.
Okay.
I'll explain quickly why, and then I'll go to the other points.
Okay.
The main reason I prefer the anime style of animation is I do find it has a bit more depth to it. There's definitely some of the animes like we said earlier that are a bit more rough around the edges, and that's part of their aesthetic that they're going for. But some anime is, even though it's completely 2D and you can tell it obviously looks nothing like the real world, it is so beautifully well done. The way they draw food, the way they draw, like, you know, waves on the water, like it's so beautiful. And in cartoons, they don't beat around the bush. A lot of the times they know exactly who they're making their stuff for. And not to say that the animation's bad. There's still talent in that, for sure. But it just, the aesthetically is not the same. Okay. It's very different. I think another reason why I'd probably pick anime. I'll even steal this from you. I do like the Japanese language. Is really cool to hear. And still, I would say the same thing. Obviously, English dubbed cartoons that are made in the West obviously have better voice acting. They're solely meant for audio and viewers in the West. But even still, they still have stuff that's just like, I don't want to listen to you. So there's two. A third one, I'm trying to think here.
Let's go 3 points.
All right, we'll do 3 points? 3 points. All right. The fact, I'm going to do 4. I'm going to do 4. Right, I got two quick, easy ones.
Okay.
Merchandise.
Yep.
So figures, like collectibles, all that stuff like that. You can be a bit more grown up about it. Obviously, cartoons are usually just like for kids.
Yep.
And it's a little less marketable to older folks. And then my last one is, you ever go on Reddit?
Yes.
You ever heard of Rule 34?
Yes.
Yeah. It's a little bit nicer seeing some anime stuff on there than it definitely is seeing non-anime stuff like cartoons, right? You ever want to see Rule 34 Squidward?
Nope.
Me either, dude. So I could tell you right now, like there's that.
Boys being a straight perv.
I'm not gonna lie to the folks at home.
So that's your 4 points. So more or less, you lean towards anime or cartoons.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, for safer work or not safer work reasons, both.
Whatever you feel, brother.
Yeah.
I'm gonna lean towards anime as well.
Okay.
Again, as you pointed out, the art style.
Right.
So much different. There's more layers to the art style in anime than there would be cartoons.
Definitely.
I'm gonna say Family Guy, for example, more or less like an adult, a young adult cartoon, right? Very one-dimensional in its art style.
I was literally about to say that. Like, literally just about to say
no dimensions to anything. The food looks flat. The characters look flat.
Yeah.
The scenery looks flat. Everything looks flat.
Yeah. It all kind of looks the same.
Except for Lois's nose.
Lois's nose,
fucking sandwich.
And probably Stewie's head.
Yes.
About it.
So, in that regard, like you said, more towards anime.
Yeah.
More dimensions, even if it is something that's a little bit more simplistic and not as textured, which will add a lot more dimension to it. You can tell that there's more to it than just what it is. So, anime for the art style. I'm gonna go story. Story behind your animes.
Absolutely.
There's usually a lot more depth to it. There's a lot more factors into it that make it something that's intriguing, and you want to keep going back.
Can I add to that?
Of course.
I just wanted to elaborate on the fact that keep in mind most cartoons out the gate are going to be geared towards children.
For sure.
So you're going to lose a lot of depth to storytelling because kids have no fucking attention span. And then of course when you look at adult cartoons, it's all humor related stuff.
It is humor
related. It is very one-dimensional in comparison.
Yeah. Very, very fair points.
Yeah.
And I don't find any cartoons that are even geared towards a more mature audience.
Like Rick and Morty or something?
Yeah, having much of an actual set-out storyline that makes you want to come back for anything aside from just the humor.
Yeah. I mean, anime is usually good because it has like a really nice beginning, middle, and an end. And you kind of feel like you're on a journey.
Yep.
But the thing with the anime is usually there's this end destination.
Mm-hmm.
And whether it's good or it's sad or it's bad or it's like a plot twist or it's something, you're on this ride and you're going there and it's an experience.
Mm-hmm.
And
you're gonna reach the destination, and whether or not it's one of them 13 episode one seasoners,
yeah,
or you pull a Naruto.
How much time do you have?
No. You're going to get to your end destination at some point.
I mean, dude, you could look at it like this too. So, we're currently, one of the shows we're watching is Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid.
Yep.
And, dude, that show, out the gate, I can honestly say that we were looking at it and I was telling Jade, I was like, hey man, I think there's this show we should watch. I've heard a lot about it. It's also a little controversial because of like some of the lolly shit.
Yeah.
I was like, we should probably check this out, see what it's about. He was like, cool. I was like, I think it's probably just going to be like a humor related show. Like I didn't really hear much about story.
Yeah.
Dude, not even true.
There's
even
a lot
that
of
show, like, yeah, like the first few episodes is just like straight humor and shit.
Yep.
But like, it is one of those shows that like will slowly just start opening up and like revealing these story points, and it's like slowly taking you there. And yeah, there's a lot of comedy and a lot of silly, but like the fact is, it's like
it's put in the right places.
It's not just like a Family Guy or something. Like it is taking you somewhere. Like
an onion.
You are going. Yeah, dude. Like you're actually on a journey. Yep. There is a destination. Whereas a lot of like cartoons, it's exactly what it is. It's there for short-term memory children or adults that are just there for a ha-ha. And it's like, at least in my experience. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So I'm going to say my third point then would be the way it can take you to a different realm. Okay. And again, that might fall into Isekai? Story. Exactly. It's more or less like a release. You know, you're feeling.
Oh, hentai.
No.
So it's not isekai.
No.
Is it hentai?
No. It's isekai. You know, you might be feeling a specific way. You're just like, fuck it.
I mean, you can't say release and go, fuck it.
Fuck it.
I'm sorry.
But you know, you can just sit back, watch some knobhead go to a different place, figure it the fuck out, come out on top, or try. Depends. Are we talking Kazuma from Konosuba, or are we talking Subaru from ReZero? Because they've got two different perspectives on coming out on top. Subaru.
Yeah.
So yeah, that would be my 3 points on anime versus cartoons, all leaning towards anime.
True. Yeah. Did you want to throw in a bonus? I did 4.
No, I don't have one.
That's okay.
I don't have
one. What about titties?
Ditties.
We'll just be up front. We'll just say it now.
Ditties.
It doesn't matter how you identify yourself, what gender you are. We all love the boba.
Ditties.
I mean, Japanese people love it so much that they be making animes where people's boobs shoot out like acidic milk, which I don't know how TOS that was. I don't know. We'll have to figure that one out, but I'm just saying.
Don't flag it.
Japanese people sometimes take it to a place I never knew it could go. Which is part of the thrill.
Ooh. Another point. In certain animes, it showcases what some of the Japanese business life is like.
Yeah, it does.
Konosuba.
Yeah.
She works for 12 hours.
That's not Konosuba.
Kobayashi.
Kobayashi.
Sorry.
For a second, I was like, "Are you talking about the wizard lady?"
No.
I forget her name. Does she like runs that little merchant shop?
No.
Where all the items aren't like actually useful.
No.
And they like actually end up doing a lot of shit
No.
for them in the bad ways.
No.
Okay.
Kobayashi.
Yes.
She works for 12 hours. Homeboy says, "Hey, let's go drink." They get wasted.
They
She
turn
goes
up.
home. She wakes up the next morning, goes to work.
And then her manager comes in and goes, just like that, and I die every time.
And from what I've seen, I've watched a couple of foreigners that live in Japan. One of such, the Anime Man, Sea Dog
Anime
VA,
Yep, good places to check out.
Giguk,
Yep, all good channels.
and Connor from Sea Dog VA is somebody who associates himself with some of the businessmen of Japan. And in that regard, it kind of showcased what I had seen from him through some of the storytelling and the storyline, and
So it gives you like
everything from the anime.
an inside to some of the culture.
Yep.
Essentially,
Yep.
which is cool. Well, I would definitely say, where the fuck are we? We're 36 minutes in. It was probably a little shorter than we probably wanted, to be honest with you.
We're over 10 minutes.
A 10-minute podcast. We are the anime hour, but not actually an hour within an hour. Hopefully we can.
Line.
Yeah, hopefully we can make that a bit bigger. In the future episodes, we'll be like, we'll have content where it'll be like an hour or two. This is the first one.
Mm-hmm.
There's definitely going to be Scuff, and the background's not even good. I think the fucking curtain's like diagonal or some shit right now. But in the future, we plan on kind of resolving.
We're going to situate
stuff.
filming area.
Yeah, we're gonna rearrange this room and get everything figured out so this looks good and
We're not as sweaty.
not as sweaty because we probably
hot in
look
here.
gross. But dude, I'm pretty sure I'm glowing.
It just took a picture.
It just died. Hey everybody, sorry about the abrupt ending there on the last little segment that we were wrapping up. We just wanted to basically let you guys know that we do have a lot more planned for future episodes of the Anime Hour podcast. Jade's over here making me do this. But essentially, we know this episode was a little scuffed. We do have some things we're going to get figured out and fixed up for future episodes. We do have a lot more content written down and planned. So for future episodes, we're hoping to extend them, make them a bit longer, and make it a little nicer to look at, and a little bit more together, as this was our first episode. But thanks for hanging out with us and coming on this journey that we're starting together. And I hope to see you on the next episode. And don't forget to like and subscribe. See you later. Peace.